So hello and welcome to FL Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where we carrying on with our complicated projects. Case in point, this unit here, this is the Scintilla Vertex NV6 Magneto for 6-cylinder engine, and what I've got here is kind of the result of a fair few kind of processes in order to start the reconstruction. So what I've done so far is that most of these things I've cleaned them off, masked them off, and I'm starting the paint process now. So this is kind of 2 coats of primer, and then I'm going to put 2 coats of black. But what's the problem with this? When I do this, you need to allow 24 hours for the primer to set. Then you need to paint and allow another 24 hours. So that's why kind of doing this sort of projects takes a very long time due to the kind of sequential aspect, if you want, of trying to put one of these things, of trying to kind of build one of these things properly. So what I'm going to do is, in a minute also, I'm going to show you what are the other things that can be cleaned from this magnetos whilst you are kind of putting the armature together, and you're doing this sort of process that takes a long time. But anyway, let's carry on and show you what are the other bits on this project that I've been working on. So as it happens, a lot of the times I'm still waiting for spare parts to come across the Atlantic, so waiting on that. But look, the paint, this part of the armature is great, and also it's all clean inside, which is, you know, a huge improvement. But I'm actually ready to do the base of the magneto. So I'll show you kind of close up what I've done so far and how do you need to kind of work it out. If you can see here, obviously this has been painted and kind of beautified somewhat. So one of the things that I've done here, if you see, is I've got this like thing soaked in a bit of oil, and I put a fair chunk of grease in there before I'm getting ready to put this inside there. And then you've got this kind of greasing kind of nipple that you need to do, but first you need to just kind of put it in there, and that would kind of give you kind of the original setup. You have to be very careful to always put back all the spaces kind of as they were. But now if I put this, if I put this on, this should create a pretty decent fit and a functioning of the magneto. Okay, so whilst I'm still waiting for the parts to come in that I need to rebuild the mag, I've done I think most of what I can to get this unit, you know, like ready to go when all the bits come. And so I need to show you a bit closer, kind of there's some detail here. And first of all, let me start with this, with the advanced mechanism from the unit. Now, it has to sound like a maraca, kind of like that. And when before I kind of took the magneto apart, I tried to see if it was working, and it was working. So the only thing I did was kind of clean it with a bit of like carb cleaner, brake cleaner is fine. And then I kind of lubricated it with a bit of oil, but not a lot, just a little bit. And therefore this is let's say this rotor now is golden. And the other thing I did is I put a new bearing here, which is a sealed bearing compared to the kind of original one, and I prefer to have like sealed bearings on it because it makes it easier, kind of less maintenance, less kind of grease kind of around the unit and that kind of stuff. I think it's better. So with this, without further ado, now I think we're ready to start. Well, now we need to just wait for the parts and wait until we're ready to assemble the unit. Okay, so the wait for spare parts is officially over. I got finally my order through from the good old US of A of the parts that I was missing. So now this project should go relatively quickly for the simple reason that I've done pretty much everything else, so everything's clean, ready for assembly. Obviously, I'm gonna get my computer, my laptop, and I'm gonna just go through all the images to make sure that the unit is built right. But before I do that, I just want to give you a little flavor, of why these units are so expensive. Why Vertex Max are very expensive. So let me give you a breakdown of some of the parts that I bought. This rotor, $35, and this is without delivery, without post, and this is kind of even beyond the joke. So the contact point, this is $88.70. Great. It's like worth more than its weight in gold. And then the fixed point is $85.65. And then I purchased, a couple of these ground straps that you need, so because if not, you wouldn't be able to ground the Magneto out, and the one that came with the mag was absolutely shot. So I got two because I'm going to do another project with mags in a bit, but more on that later. So you've got a situation where all this stuff, all these little bits that I've just showed you, they were about $350 and about 350 pounds with the tax and everything when it came here. So this isn't exactly kind of cheap stuff. And also one of the things I need to show you is kind of some particularities with rotors, because I've got well, as you can see, I've got a few spare parts. So I'll show you what I mean, the difference between the caps. Okay, so what I've got here is a brand new cap, and this is for kind of the later versions of the Vertex mag. And basically here we've got the 6-cylinder cap, which we're going to use in this particular build, obviously, because it's 6 cylinders. And I don't know if you can see it here, but you can notice that this cap has like this thing that protrudes, this contact point, and this one hasn't. Okay, and that means that these caps, they need different rotors. So for these ones that they have the contact point like this, you need a rotor like this in order to make it work. And for this sort of style, you need a rotor like this that goes like this and like so. Yeah, that's it, mint. Again, very important always when you are kind of assembling these things, you need to make sure that you are putting kind of the right components with the right cap. If not, you could be snookered a bit. Okay, so now I think we're ready to just assemble the unit. I need to bring my laptop and get all the pictures that I took of the unit, because I need to have those pictures to hand, so I can reproduce the build exactly as it came to me. Okay, so now as you can see, I've got my laptop with me, and the reason for that is because as I am going through the assembly process of the Magneto, I am checking all the pictures that I've taken when I was disassembling it, and I am assembling it exactly the same way as it came out. So for example, in this particular case, the this kind of oiling attachment was exactly in line with the stop connector, so therefore that's exactly what I've done. And now as I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna put the the plate and put all the everything else, I am going to be following all the pictures that I've taken, and you need to do the same. So whatever pictures you've taken from yours, that's how you need to build yours. Couple of tips though that I can give you, top tips. Number one is when you're building a Vertex Mag, always try to, until the final assembly, always leave the wires kind of long. Don't start cutting them now, because you need to wait until to know how to route them properly, and that's why I'm leaving them long for the time being. And the other one, ask me how I know this, when you put your striker plate, it is very important that you start this screw in here. So I've got obviously the base and this, so this is all golden. But what happens, what I need to do is, if this goes inside here, which is gonna go a bit like so, can you imagine trying to do this nut if it wasn't there? So that is like seriously not gonna happen. So that's why it's very important to do it outside, and then you can start doing kind of all the bits. So this one is like really kind of crucial for the build. But anyway, just thought I'd show you that. And now we just have to carry on with the assembly process using the pictures that we've already taken. Okay, I think we're golden here. I have assembled the mag. I'm going to show you. Okay, so as you can see, we've done the points, new points, obviously, new condenser, and we strapped it all up just as it was when we took the pictures. And then what I did is test it. So that's running mint. Now, there's only one task remaining, or a couple of tasks remaining, which is the following. As you can see, I've got this lead that I left it long on purpose. Why? Because what we need to do then is we need to essentially, this provides, this is the HD lead that provides tension to this up here, and this is what distributes the lightning storm, if you want, using this unit here. So what I need to do is I need to kind of trim this so that it reaches the top there, because at the moment I can't put the top on. So I need to do that and put like a little cap on top of this. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the episode now, but I do have some final remarks before I show some details. So I just want to reflect on what we've done throughout this project. Yeah, because if you think about in the old days, in the 80s or beyond that, if you had a car and you send the car in to do a full kind of ignition service, what would happen there? So the technician, the mechanic, will change your plugs, plug wires. It would change the coil. It would change the condenser, the points, and the cap and the rotor. Yeah, so those are the things that basically comprise a basic ignition system. So And what we did here in this project essentially is doing exactly that, yeah, because remember we changed, we have a coil inside this unit. We're doing a new cap, obviously the points, expensive points, we changed them. This is a new stock kind of rotor. We changed the condenser, so essentially, and obviously the customer is going to have to put new wires to connect the wires to the spark plugs. So essentially this is like doing a complete overhaul of an ignition system. It's just doing it in one kind of self-contained bit like this one. I'll show you a couple of details before I finish. Okay, so I put the rotor here, which wasn't featured before in the episode, and what I want to show you is what I did with the cable. Remember that I said that you needed to trim it so that it would sit around there. That's probably the right height. And what you need to do is you need to put a metal cap. I've done it this way. Other people do it as putting in like a metal cap like so, kind of like that thing. Let's see if it stays. Yeah, it does. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. It works exactly the same if you leave it like this, or if you put a cap like this. It's not that deep. It works exactly the same. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, just in case. And the other thing is, obviously I'm going to do it off camera, but as you can see here, there is a little bit of a I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there is a bit of a bit of weirdness with the paint. It's got a bit of a run here, and also the paint doesn't quite look very good here, and this line here, if we've got a few issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask a few bits off, and I'm just going to give it a little kind of spritz of paint, but I'll do that off camera, so just so that it looks good, as it should. But other than that, the other thing I'm going to include here is this kind of anti-track insulator, as it's called, which didn't come with the original ones, but this was kind of developed later, just to keep the sparks from the from here. That sometimes you get some sparks coming out of there from the points, just to isolate this from the cap. I mean, it's just a detail, but it's an important detail, I think. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. You find some tips about these things useful. I mean, I really like working with this sort of magneto, because it's very rare, and I think it's something that is good, that is kept going. So anyway, I want to say thank you very much for watching this episode. If you've got any questions, put it down in the comments, and if not, I'll see you in the next episode.